So, where should we start? Nick Diaz, Jon Jones, VMAs, although that might be old news, but still, I mean, Conor McGregor is always attention seeking wherever he can. Yeah, UFC 266, the fight card, which was stacked, especially the main card. It was crazy. But
yeah, the whole way up, from top to bottom, even the prelims.
Forgive me. I didn't, and please
Everything
don't
was
bash me
good
for this. Anyone who's watching this or listening to this, I didn't pay too much attention to all of the prelims. It was mainly the main card. Though someone said somewhere there was a particular fight, I can't remember which one it was. I think you said, and some other people echoed it as well. There was a 15-second knockout by someone.
Yes, I can't remember his name now. The Jedi, I think he calls himself. I actually did miss that though. Because I believe that was the first fight on the card. Yeah, 15 seconds came in, boom, gone, clean knockout. Good. I've seen the videos of it. It was good. It was actually quite a stacked card from top to bottom. Like I watched it live, and it's hard to watch it live here.
And I get it,
like
because
I was up to the 7
over here it's gonna be late.
Like, the reaction. But yeah, over there it's about 1, I think it was, because I tuned into one of the guys I watched on YouTube, and he was doing post reaction, and I think he said it was like 1:20, but it was like fucking 6:20 here, or something like that. And then I was just listening to him as I tried to get asleep after the excitement of that main event. Tried to get the heart go back down and settle after what I'd just seen. So it is tough watching them. So I tried to start watching as early as possible to keep the interest. Because if you're waiting until 3 a.m. for the main card, sometimes I just end up falling asleep. So I tried to watch as much as I could. I didn't get to see all of them now. I got to see a good bit of them, because I wanted to watch especially Dan Hooker and Merab on the prelims, and Roxy Medaferi.
Dan Hooker versus Nasrat God, I can't pronounce that name. Nasrat Haqparast. I'm guessing it's like a Middle Eastern Arabic name.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. But the 15-second knockout that he talks about, that was between Matthew Selmersberger versus Martin Sano Jr. KO punch, 15 seconds. Wow.
Yes. Yeah. Imagine going to fight and getting knocked out in 15 seconds. You have to feel bad for the guy who got knocked out. The what, 8 to 12 weeks of a training camp, and then to get caught.
It's like back at early
like that. Rough.
UFC Vegas 18 was back in March or February earlier this year. Sanhagen and the other guy whose name I cannot remember, just Sanhagen and Frankie Edgar. Just it was kind of the same thing. I mean, this one I didn't see, but the other one, Edgar and Sanhagen, that one I did see, and I was just a flying knee, and the fight was over.
Yeah, that took his head off. That was
he looks like he's very light and agile, so
he's good with the
knee.
That
won't be a problem for him.
Yeah, so he's getting, him and Yana are fighting now, it looks like, for the interim belt, because Aljo is going to be out for a while.
Yeah,
so
and
it looks like they're putting that match together. It reminds me
of what happened between Yan and what's his name, the other guy, who I think he his knee was still on the ground on the canvas, and then
yeah, and the first ever disputed champion, not undisputed, Aljamain. But at the end of the day, he gets a lot of grief. But at the end of the day, he did nothing wrong. His opponent, Jan, did something wrong, and you can say, yeah, okay, he said he didn't want the belt or something. I think at the time, but like at the end of the day, if your opponent does something he shouldn't do, that's not Aljamain's fault, and he's getting a lot of grief over it. A lot of grief.
He was given the win because of the technicalities of what happened towards the end of that fight. He was given the win, but I think he was kind of saying, no, I don't want the belt. No, it's not how it's supposed to be. You know, this is my moment. I'm supposed to, you know, it just shouldn't end like this. This is not how you finish a fight. But people are saying, look, stop acting, stop pretending you won. So, you know, just be happy with how the outcome played out. Everybody saw that, you know, the guy kind of cheated. You should be happy with the way things turned out. Just take your win, shut your mouth, you know, just enjoy yourself.
Yeah, I think after it though, he was celebrating because he was saying he didn't want the belt, then he's celebrating with the belt. He's getting a lot of grief over it. He should just go full bad guy mode and fuck everyone, make them all hate him, so they'll all tune in to watch his next fight when he does fight for the belt. Because it looks like I think he's getting neck surgery, so he's gonna be out for like 9 months.
See, I don't know. I've not been following his social media that close. I mean, I just remember him mainly for the what happened with the fight against Jan, just how the whole thing ended, and there was just so much, you know, just so much of a fuss about the whole thing. He was angry about how the whole fight ended. But yeah, I think most people are saying, look, just stop acting, stop pretending, take your win, because it could have ended up a lot worse. You know.
Yeah. Because he wasn't winning. He wasn't winning. So he could have left without the belt. But look, it is what it is. He can't change now. He has to sit out. So it looks like Sandhagen and Jan are going to fight for an interim belt. And then obviously the winner will face Aljo when he's back. So that's a good fight to look forward to. There's actually about 4 fights announced in the past 2 days.
The one you've mentioned and the others I just can't remember right now.
Aldo and Font.
Yes.
Jose Aldo and Rob Font. Max Holloway and Yara Rodriguez is
Charles Oliveira
is announced. What's the other one?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And Dustin.
Yeah.
There's actually been quite a few. What's the other one? Greg Hardy, I think, has been slated to fight Alexander
Volkanovski.
I can't pronounce the second name. He's got another fight, and Tai Tuivasa. No, I can't remember. Who did he fight last? I can't remember. But there's a lot of fights after been announced. So it's looking like the end of the year is going to be. You see,
it's one of those situations whereby the UFC talk a good game but can actually deliver. Because this past weekend they seemed to deliver on the fight card, especially the whole fight card seemed really, really engaging and really entertaining. But you know, there's other times whereby they talk a good game, but unfortunately, you just watch the whole card and you just wonder, why did I pay the $17 or $5.99 for this pay-per-view card, and why was I so hyped up and so excited? You know, it just felt like it was all for nothing, and you know, just this whole fight card just didn't do it for me.
Sometimes that happens, but obviously they're going to put their PR machine behind everyone. Some are going to be better than others, but all they can do is get in their job is just to get 2 fighters in the cage, and it's up to them to do the business. So you could look at it as it could be bad matchmaking. It could be someone like that's too scared to lose their belt, maybe who just doesn't come. They're too conservative. You can't really blame the UFC all the time. They put the people there. the people kind of have to then put on the show. So like, because they're always going to matter, because they want your money. So whoever's on it, they want your money. But if you notice, they do kind of stack the cards. So if one falls out, so just say if the main event had fallen out the weekend, like easily Valentina would main event, then Nick Diaz, then like Merab and Moraes, no, not Moraes, Moraes or Dan Hooker, that would have been bumped up to the main card. Like that's how good the prelims were. Like you had Dan Hooker, and yeah, so like the prelims had people who would like had fighters that would make a main card. So they kind of stack them now. So if one falls out, they can change it. So there's usually a really good co-main. So like unless like all of them fall out, you're usually gonna have a decent headline.
Speaking of fight cards or big names, there was another big name that's fought that fought the main card and got Nick Diaz. We're talking about Nick Diaz. I mean, I noticed a lot of people, I mean, in comparison to someone like Conor McGregor, very few people are actually trash talking or just trashing the guy by how he performed against Robbie Lawler when he went up against Lawler for the second time. I saw the fight, but I wasn't, not to knock Diaz, but I wasn't really impressed. You know, just the way he was throwing shots, how he was moving, it looked sluggish. You know, what do you think?
I felt crazy watching it. Did it feel like it was in slow motion?
I mean, this guy's like supposed to be like a big name in mixed martial arts. You and your brother, I expected more. I really was anticipating to see a lot more from this guy. 38. It's 1980. Yeah.
How old is he? 37, 38? 38. He's 38. He's been out for 6 years. He's been partying. He's been drinking. He's been having fun. Did he really want to come back? Because you heard him at the end and he was talking about his management. And if you watch the whole fight week, like, he didn't seem interested. He didn't. Like, I don't know whether he did or didn't want to fight, because he is a bit flaky like that. You know, he can seem like he doesn't want, and he really does. And
you should be careful,
because you never really know what you're going to get with him.
You see some of the Diaz brothers like that, because some
like
really hardcore fight fans from the US that will hear that and just start trolling in the comment section below. You know, so.
Yeah, no, I do, but like I feel whatever happened, like his boxing, although it looks slow, like his boxing still wasn't bad, and his shot selection to the body and stuff was good. I think him and Lawler was a good matchup for them. But if you like, he hasn't fought in 6 years. If you look at 6 years ago, the way the evolution of mixed martial arts, how technical it is, and how much it's improved. He's still, I'm not saying he's stuck back there, but like I said, I don't think he wanted to fight, and I think he really did the right thing. Like, if you're not 100% in it, you're gonna you could get badly hurt. So when he went down and didn't get back up, like, I see a lot of people on the internet giving him shit. I actually see a lot of support though, which is good. But if he was like, there's a lot, and I think it might be people who'd be new to the sport. Like, I wouldn't have seen him live actually before this either. I would have just started watching as he stopped. But I've gone back. I've watched his fights. I've seen him. I've watched clips. You go down the Diaz rabbit hole between the two of them on YouTube and Fight Pass. He did the right thing. If he's not 100% in it, like, don't put yourself in a position where you like. There is you could potentially die. Someone has died in the cage, but don't put yourself in a position where, like, you're going to be hurt for a long time, or like, if that's it, that's it. Like, if he's not in it 100%, if that's it, I'm done. And that takes a lot of balls to turn around, like, because he knows he has had all the support to turn around and say, I'm done. That probably killed him, but he's a bigger man for doing it, I think, because the end of the day, your health
Totally
is your
agree.
wealth,
Yeah.
and if you're not in it, like the consequences are quite substantial to your health if you're not in 100%. So he did the right thing. It wasn't bad. It was like for 6 years away, 38 years of age. Like I said, he's been partying, he's been having fun. He could have turned up looking like Ben Askren at fighting JAKEPAUL. Like he still does triathlons. He still works out. I don't know. I think what he really wanted. I think he really wanted to come back and fight maybe a big name, get a big payday, and go. I think that's what he wanted. But whatever happened, he ended up fighting Robbie.
Well, look,
But what did you think overall? What did you think of?
Well, look,
of him not getting back up?
I'm
Do you think
not
he made the
the
right
fighter.
decision?
I'm not the mixed martial arts fighter. I'm not the athlete. So when they're in that position, I mean, okay, fine, I could say, yeah, I'll get up. I would have gone up again and still continued fighting and still continued competing. But I'm not them. So I don't know what was going through his mind. I don't know how he was feeling. And you know, credit to him for being you know, how respectful he was to his opponent for still admitting, you know, he lost, and he was actually upfront about how he felt about you know, you heard that he did he actually say it in the post press conference that he didn't feel like that he shouldn't have been in that cage.
Yeah, I didn't see the post press conference, but I seen somewhere that it was alleged that he said that it was more like he was forced to fight, not forced to fight, but pushed into
If he
fight,
said
and
that,
didn't have a
if he said
long
that,
training.
then
He
I
had 6 weeks or
respect him
so.
for being honest about it, because
Uh,
most people, I mean, I can't imagine someone like Conor McGregor ever saying something like that, especially what just, you know, do you know what I mean? I mean, credit, and I respect someone for being honest, especially in a situation when it does make them look bad, because he didn't really look that good. He didn't really look high performed in the cage against Lawler. He didn't really look that good. So I think that's probably the reason why people didn't trash it or troll him that much after the fight, because you know, I really did expect a lot more from Nick Diaz, but that just, you know, that just didn't happen. Just from the way he was moving in the cage, how he was throwing shots, you know, and you know, at certain points in the match, in the fight, he had his guard up, you know. So for me, that suggests that, you know, he yeah, you know, it just wasn't his night. He wasn't feeling up to it, and I don't know how else I can describe it or how I could put my opinion across. Yeah, it just, the whole thing just really didn't look good. And you know, before, I think a few months before the fight, he looked really shredded and looked really lean. But leading up to the fight and the days approaching the fight, he looks like it packed on some body fat, not excessive, but you can see he's added some unnecessary, unhealthy size that doesn't really help him when he's in the cage.
I don't know. It was a weird one because it was only about 4 days out when they changed the weight class of the weight class of the fight. So I don't know. See, that would say to me that he wasn't really interested and he didn't want to do it. Like, if you don't want to do it, you don't want to do it. Like, he's done enough in the sport over the years. He has the cult. Him and Nate have the cult following that will go to the end of the earth for them. He doesn't need to fight. If he doesn't want to fight, he doesn't need to fight. He's done what he's done in the sport. Like, he's fought the best. He's fought GSP, Anderson Silva, like a lot of classic moments in the early 2010s or from Nick. Um, so like he doesn't need to fight if he doesn't want to. To me, it felt like he just wasn't interested. He didn't look interested. But did you see how he
No,
started to fight
wasn't there
with the
the
kick?
particular iconic, well, I keep the working, but there wasn't there that particular iconic meme that someone made of someone who's actually, like, I think it's him lying down on the canvas on just with their head in their hands, I think that was from 2004 when he was fighting Lawler
Yeah.
for the first time, isn't it? And then when he was pushed down to the canvas this time around, UFC 266, I remembered, wow, yeah, well, the first time that happened, you did it because you were feeling good and feeling on cloud nine. This time around, you're, you're not looking the best, because I was reminded just how he was throwing on the first time around. He did it because he felt that he looked good. I was feeling really happy and really, he felt really confident about the fight, a little bit arrogant. This time around, you're not really in that sort of pose or position or posture, and you know, well, the tables are turned. Let me just put it that way. That's it.
Yeah, I think you were talking about where he's like lying there like that.
Okay.
That I think that was against Anderson Silva. That wasn't against Robbie, I don't think. Where he was taking the piss out of Anderson Silva for a
I
showboat.
think you're
I
right,
believe
actually.
it could be a different one, but that's the one I believe it is. But
No, it wasn't.
but look, it wasn't his night. He said at the end, I had it coming. He talked about his management. I just think, Joe, what? Because like his boxing isn't bad. His boxing is actually quite good. Like I said, it might have been sluggish, but if he gets if he was serious, his boxing's good. He could fight Jake.
You know,
He could fight Jake.
excuse me. Jake Paul has
I'd
fought
like to see him fight Jake Paul.
quite well. Would I say enough mixed martial arts fighters to say that someone like Nick Diaz, excuse me, doesn't stand a chance up against someone like Jake Paul? Oh God, I got a good feeling that Nick Diaz would lose. I have a feeling that Jake Paul would win that fight hands down, and Nick Diaz would lose, because I think Jake Paul always goes for, let me say, the mixed martial arts fighters that are coming towards the end of that window of coming up to that age whereby most mixed martial arts fighters retire and they give up the sport. I mean, I'd like to see him fight one of the younger, well, if not younger mixed martial arts fighter, at least a younger boxer, someone close to his age. When you were someone like Tommy Fury.
Yeah, he said he put out offers to Tommy, and Tommy's rejected them. And then Tommy came out and said 1 million wasn't
Tommy
enough.
Fury,
He wanted more.
did Tommy Fury really say that?
Yeah, I'll send you the clip. He said a fight of this magnitude, 1 million
Because
is not enough. Is exactly what he said. Because Jake Paul had said he put out 3 offers, and I think the last one was 1 million. And then Tommy Fury replied and said, "One for a fight of this magnitude, how much it's going to make? I
either
want
Jake
like
Paul's
1
using it
million
as
isn't
a
enough for me."
convenient tactic to just as an excuse so he can avoid Tommy Fury as much as possible, because Tommy Fury is definitely a force to be reckoned with within boxing. Or Tommy Fury himself is using it as a convenient excuse to avoid fighting Jake Paul. But I don't think that's the case. I think that's extremely unlikely.
Paul isn't like it's Jake Paul's court. If Tommy doesn't accept it, Jake Paul will move on, and then that's that fight gone. Jake Paul will find someone else will want to fight Jake Paul. So,
oh God, I'm just dreading the day that I have to. I have to put respects in Jake Paul's name. You know what? If it happens, it happens. But I don't think it's going to happen. He needs to fight proper professional boxing, not someone who's come from another corner of combat sports like mixed martial arts or judo or BJJ or wrestling. It has to be someone who is a professional boxer. Once he's gone up against them and he has won, or maybe even lost, but still he put up a really good performance, and fine, then people can start really, really calling him a professional boxer. But now, no, because as far as I'm concerned, it's a padded record. A lot of the guys I put in front of him were easy wins, as far as I'm concerned, anyway.
Yeah, but so were a lot of boxers in their first few fights. So I don't know. While we're on the subject,
Yeah, but
did you
that's not a
see
real tattoo.
Tyron
That's not
got
a
the tattoo?
proper tattoo, though, is it?
Apparently, from a tattoo expert
It's
that
not, but
said
that's not.
the Jake Paul part is real.
I don't believe that at all.
The
Are you
love
telling me that you're going to let
isn't.
someone disrespect? Because first of all, it's no secret they do not like each other. Tyron Woodley is good friends with Ben Askren. Ben Askren respected within mixed martial arts. So despite his poor striking, people respect him. Like he's a really good wrestler. And I think Tyron Woodley was really offended by how Jake Paul was disrespecting Ben Askren. And then beyond that, he was really offended by how Jake Paul was disrespecting him. So do you really think after all of that, that you're actually going to go and get tattooed that person, tattooed anywhere on your body, and until you get it removed, you're really going to have that as a reminder of this person and all the disrespect they showed you and your family? I'm not
Yeah, because he
convinced.
wants to rematch. Because he apparently, from what people said, they said the Jake Paul part looks real, but the love part isn't. But he keeps calling him out. He wants to rematch. He wants to rematch. And then him and Dan Hardy got into it.
I
Dan
saw
Hardy
the
went
exchange. I
hard
saw
on
the
him.
exchange. Yeah.
Said you're
Dan
a
Hardy
loser. Like
didn't
you're
hold
trying.
back at all. He tore Tyron Woodley a new one.
Yeah. Um, I don't know, but like when this fight was announced or in the lead up,
Yes,
wasn't the
but
original bet whoever lost was to get a
that
tattoo regardless, win or lose, wasn't it? So the loser got a tattoo. So in this case, Tyron lost, so he should have got the tattoo anyways. It shouldn't be for a rematch. That's what I'd be saying if I was Jake Paul. I'd be saying, why the bet was originally if you lost to get tattoo, you got tattoo.
that
See you
no
later.
that was the agreement. Yes, everybody knew it, and Jake Paul was making so much noise about it, like he would be expected to. Yeah, that was the agreement. Everybody knows that. But why would you get the tattoo on the palm of your hand? The same sort of skin. You know what I mean. You know
He
exactly what I
got his
mean.
middle finger.
But more or less the same, this palm of your hand.
Yeah, yeah,
That's not a real tattoo. And even if it's a tattoo, I'm sure because of where he got it, it's gonna be able to, it's gonna be removable. It must be.
it could be. It could be one of those temporary tattoos. You know what I don't want. I don't know. Maybe. I think he's thirsty for that rematch. I think that's what it is.
What happens
I think
now
he's
if
thirsty
Tyron
for that
Woodley
money
wins?
again.
God.
They do a trilogy.
So we'll go for a third
They
round.
do. They do a trilogy. Why not?
Mm,
They said it was the second highest selling pay
yeah.
per view of the year. So then, if you do it again and he
Yes,
wins,
yes, yes. I can see that happening. I would
money,
tune
money,
in to
money.
watch it to keep my fingers crossed that Jake Paul loses, and then somewhere in California or wherever in the world, one of his supporters are someone will tune in to watch Jake Paul win. So you know, you have the the haters and the supporters, the fans. You know,
Yeah, that's why he makes so much money because people would, the MMA crowd would watch, hoping he'd lose. Then he'd have his own haters just in life
Mm.
that just dislike him, that'll tune in to maybe watch him lose. But then you've got the people who want to see him win. He's like 20 odd million followers or something crazy like that. So it's all money at the end of the day. Like he's making more money and he's making his opponents more
Hype
money than
train.
they've been making. So
Eventually, it will all come to an end. You call yourself a professional boxer. I know I've been saying this like a broken record for such a long time. I know you're bored of hearing it. I'm sure many people have been following this podcast will feel the same way as well. And I would be bored as well. But again, I stand by what I say. You want to be counted as one of the best, then you need to prove yourself. You still have to prove yourself, because all these people that you're fighting, all these challenges, they're not real challenges. You gotta do, I don't know how to put it into words. Put yourself to the test, to the proper, real test. Then we will know. Then we shall see.
But if a boxer, like to say Tommy Fury, one of his fighters that he was supposed to fight was 0-14
wins and no
or something like
losses.
that, is that a real challenge? No.
Tommy Fury.
0 wins and 14 losses.
Ah, no, sorry. Look, I'm
No,
just
Tommy
embarrassing
Fury,
myself.
one of
No,
his
no, I know what you
opponents.
mean. Yeah, the sort of.
Yeah. So
you're coming
is that a challenge? Is that a challenge?
Position that if he was to go up against someone like Tommy Fury, and Tommy Fury's past opponents, the sort of records he's had, the sort of opponents he's gone up against, the sorts of records they have, they are also not that, they're not really good boxers, not proper professional boxers. I hear what you're saying. I completely get where you're coming from. But still, Tommy Fury is a proper professional boxer. He is a proper professional boxer. His brother is, his half brother is. Amir Khan's, even though I think he's retired now, he's a proper professional boxer. Canelo, these are people who are, they're masters in their craft. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but who were they starting fighting? If you look at all the boxers' records and you look at their first 10 fights and look at their records, they're all massively losing records. Like they're all like 0-20, 0-50s. Like they're all like really bad losing records. Like Tyron Woodley would be a better caliber of opponent than most of their first fights. Like if you look, I can't get him off the head. It was Tommy Fury I knew because there was a big deal made about it, and his opponents had like a record of like 12 wins and 100 and something losses of all like the 6 fights he's had or whatever it is. Like so, like are they competitive? Tyron Woodley's probably more competitive than anyone that Tommy Fury's fought, except for Anthony Taylor, who Tommy just fought, who fights in Bellator as well in MMA. But I think he also has a losing record as well.
No, you're right.
But
I
they
get
all
it.
started somewhere.
But
They all started somewhere.
look, I'm not gonna repeat myself again about this YouTube clown. No, yeah, it's funny and I get it. And I'm surprised you're still laughing. I'm sure many people will be annoyed by me bitching about the same old thing like a broken record. But I just can't get past the fact that this person, because look at the people he's fought. But then you come back at me with the other guys who are professionals and look at their early fights, the first 5 to 10 fights that they've had, and that they have fought, that not fought, but I think they just weren't successful in their first 10 fights or so. But this guy it's like he's a different breed. It's almost like, are you really taking the sport seriously, or are you just doing it for the attention? Because I really can't see any other combat sports athlete or any other boxer, to be more specific, who does things the way you do.
Connor to an extent. But if you want to be noticed, you don't want to be like everyone else. That's why he's making money, and these other boxers aren't.
Exactly.
Right. I think we should move on because I think people might not watch. They might not watch this. They might hear Jake Paul and they're like, "Oh, fuck this! This is gonna be an hour."
You think
Dave
so?
and
Because
I talk about Jake
some
Paul
people,
again.
some other people who watch this podcast, know that I do it. They've said that the moment they've heard Jake Paul, they just switched off. They don't hear it. So No,
I think they will at this stage because he's not really relevant at the minute, and especially with the card that we
you're
just
right.
witnessed.
You're right. You're right.
I think, and
Jon
then with the news
Jones.
of Jon Jones, I think we should move off Jake Paul. Because if people are giving you feedback
You're
saying
right.
that when they hear Jake Paul,
You're right.
I don't
My
think we should
fault.
ever
My
mention him
fault.
again,
My fault.
or just do a separate video for him. If you can edit out that last 20 minutes.
Jon Jones. So
yeah, so I don't know. What do you want to get onto next, Jon? Jon Jones?
Well, say what I've been hearing. So all over the internet, all over the news. So he has recently been arrested, and the mock shows actually I saw it being posted and then reposted by several podcasts. No, not podcasts. Mixed martial arts social media profiles, including your friends. Is it the Premier? So I can't remember the name of it. The Premier podcasting for mixed martial arts, something like that. Yes. Yeah. He posted as well. Yeah, he posted
the Prospect podcast.
It was all over the internet, and
Emmanuel,
I was just thinking this just happened was a few hours after being indicted into inducted into the UFC Hall of Fame.
Inducted into the Hall
Some
of Fame.
people just don't get it. They just can't help themselves. And I the reports in the news were word for word that I think he had gone out to a strip club or something, had come back and was just angry about something, took out on his fiance. The police were called, domestic violence, domestic disturbance, and then the police came and arrested him. Then while standing outside, he started banging his head on the police car so hard that some of the paint from the chassis chipped off. So what is wrong with this guy?
The thing you sent me that what Danny Conroy said, he's not going to change. Man, that guy has demons. That guy needs help. And I'm not going to kick him while he's down. People make mistakes. He constantly makes them, but he needs some sort of help. To do that, like, I'm not going to defend him in what happened to his fiance or what's alleged that's happened to his fiance. But this is a trend, and it's obviously when there's like stuff consumed, obviously it's alcohol or whatever it may be, and he just it seems like I don't know if he changes. I don't know if he's actually like that when he's sober, but he comes across like he's not like that anymore. I just think he needs help. Imagine how the UFC felt. Imagine inducting him, and then 6 or 7 hours later, you see that, and you're Dana White. You're just like, fuck. I don't know. Something needs to be done, but until he realizes, like with drug addicts or alcoholics, and I'm not saying he's a drug addict or an alcoholic or someone that has problems, it's not really until they hit a rock bottom and they want to help themselves. So no one can help Jon Jones for Jon Jones. Only Jon Jones can help Jon Jones. And it'll only be when he gets to a point where he feels like he's at rock bottom. So I don't know. It's like, this is all alleged. Obviously, with what's come out, this is what's been stated that's happened, and we have to remember, so you're always innocent until proven guilty, but it doesn't look good.
And I think maybe it's just I feel this way because maybe I've just been lucky in my life. Thankfully, I've never been I've never put myself in that sort of situation before. None of my close family members have been like that. None of any of my friends, close friends, or mere acquaintances, they've never done that. But I probably wouldn't have taken the same opinion that you have. I probably would have been a lot harsher, because one thing you mentioned, Dana White, after seeing this, just after you've done what you've done for the guy, because he's won so many fights, yeah, be so pissed and so angry. I think maybe you could have used the word, he would have felt embarrassed. But the thing is, the UFC are not going to cut Jon Jones, though, are they? I mean, this is not the first time. There's the issue that happened back in 2015 that he had an accident with a collision somewhere in the US, and the driver of the other vehicle was a pregnant girl. I think she broke her arm or so, and he just ran away from the scene, came back to get some stuff from his car, and he's done he's done so many things, failed so many drugs tests, although he's always been proven innocent, not guilty. All of these sort of controversies, and still, I think the biggest and probably the best punishment for him to actually turn his life around probably would be for the UFC to cuss him.
Could, or it could lead him into a bigger downward spiral. I don't know. I don't know if they'll come. Like, there's always talk of him not being a big pay-per-view draw. So they keep him because I think Dana genuinely thinks he's probably one of the best to ever do it. And if people look back on someone and they were the best to do it, you want to be the person that has them in your company. But
Yeah, no, but the thing is that
Dana was pissed. If you
say
seen
that,
if you
fine, I
seen the interview,
understand it.
Dana was pissed.
Wasn't
He
Dana
said, like,
pissed when he had the situation just explained to you about the incident that happened back in 2015 with the car crash with the other lady that she was pregnant, broke her arm? What about the failed drugs test? I mean, I remember there was one scene from 2015, 16 or 17. I think DC Chromio was supposed to go and fight Jon Jones. Dana White went backstage to meet DC and told him, "Look, I'm really sorry, but Jones tested positive for a banned substance." And DC was so pissed to the point he actually broke down into tears. He was so annoyed because he was looking forward to competing and winning. You know, all of the hard work is now in vain. It was now a complete waste of his time that will never get back. So Dana White's been pissed off and been so angry on so many occasions with this particular person, but they've never been so pissed off. I mean, you're now including him in the Hall of Fame for your organization that you built something that you defend like it's your baby. Okay. Are you not even embarrassed? Because anytime that you look in that Hall of Fame, you're going to see this because the Hall of Fame, I can understand why someone like GSP will be in there. Everybody can understand and respect why he's in there. But then you look at Jon Jones and you think, do you really deserve to be in this particular place? Are you sure? Because your past, how you got and how you achieved all of this success, did you do it the right way, the clean way? I appreciate that in certain situations, certain PEDs have to be used so that the athletes can actually still perform, maintain weight, cut weight, make weight, and all those things without compromising their health so badly and so severely. I get that. But in his own case, there's so many controversies have he's been involved in so many negative things that sometimes you just wonder what would it take for this man to change his ways. And again, I suggest maybe he needs to be cut from the UFC. That probably will be the biggest punishment and the biggest wake-up call that he needs to change.
I don't know. I don't know how he works. He obviously works different to everyone else.
Neither do I.
I don't see them cutting him. I don't see. I don't know. I just don't see. I don't see it happening. I don't know why. I think they're going to try. They might try get him help. I just don't see it happening. Like, even with this latest one, because it involves domestic battery, like, Dana White, like, in the past couple of years, has taken Greg Hardy, who had done similar. So what people have done, I'm not saying it doesn't phase him. Well, I suppose Greg Hardy done that, and maybe people deserve a second chance or whatever. But how many chances is this for Jones now? I don't think they will get rid
I
of him. I just
agree.
have this funny feeling they won't. I really don't think they will. And like, it could be, like you said, it could be a wake up call if he got caught, that he might go fucking get his life together. But then if he goes and gets his life together, you think UFC are going to be happy that he's gone? And where's he going to go then? Bellator? And then now Bellator
You see,
have the pound for pound best fighter ever
I
to
always get
fight.
on edge when I'm speaking. But the thing is, again, I remember earlier this year, I think over the summer or just towards the tail end of spring, I think they just a random MMA news reporting. Some kids were outside his house, and I think he saw them through his Ring doorbell camera. And he actually said, "Hi guys." I think they're a bit shy, but he was welcoming to them and put them off, put them on knees. And he actually came and signed some autographs for them. He was actually did, he treated them really well. You see, a lot of people look up to him, but again, if the same sort of person still gets away with all these sorts of serious crimes and so on, what sort of messages it send out to other people? I mean, you keep saying people make mistakes. Well, why didn't someone like GSP make the same mistakes?
That opens up
Oh, no,
whole different
GSP
conversations though.
GSP came from a
Upbringing,
good family home,
like
but
there's so
he
many
was
different
severely bullied in
factors.
school, really badly bullied. But still, throughout his life, he's only 40 years old, but he still hasn't really done anything that's been so controversial, or not broken the law. He's not had any of the issues that Jon Jones has had. You know,
Don't know too much about Jon Jones's upbringing, to be honest. But I know GSP was bullied. But you could take two people that live in the same area that have had the same upbringing, and they could one goes one way and one goes another way, and you can't like it's something inside someone. Like I said, Jon Jones has some sort of demons. Like there's something there. Um, for me, he needs help. He needs help, but whether he needs to want the help, he needs to want to change. Otherwise, if you're changing for the people or you're changing because you think it's good for your image, I think he needs to go away and he needs to see what he wants and what he needs and what help he needs. Because only he knows that. I can't say why he went one way and someone that maybe lived beside him went another. Like one became a businessman, one became a crook. So like that's really psychological. You need to get in someone's head to try and find out stuff like that. So I don't know. I think they're going to keep him. I don't know what will happen from here. He was going to be out until mid next year, anyways, is what he was saying. Um, so I don't know what's going to happen. I reckon there'll be talks between him and Dana,
no,
but I
no,
don't see them.
David,
I
I
could
agree
be
with
wrong,
you.
but
I
I
don't
don't
see
see
them
them cutting. Do you
custom
think they're
at
going to?
all. Likewise, when someone like Conor McGregor does something like this, probably not domestic abuse or any domestic incidents, but anytime a big name in the UFC, like Jon Jones or Conor McGregor, at least these two guys, when they're somehow involved in something controversial outside of the UFC or outside of mixed martial arts, somehow somehow the UFC, it's almost like they turn a blind eye, they look the other way. Yeah, Dana White will say it's a horrible thing, it's not blah blah blah, but they'll never cut them. I mean, they'll never receive the proper punishment that everybody knows will hurt them a lot. That just never seems to happen. That consequence just never comes their way. Yeah, no, I know.
Money.
I know.
That's what.
Mm.
But if a prelim fighter done this, gone. If even a lower, not even a prelim fighter, if someone lower on the card, like someone that's not Jon Jones, not Conor McGregor, not like I know GSP doesn't do anything like this, Nick Diaz, Nate Diaz. Like someone other than them, not really going to get the pass that they get. And it's because they bring in money and lots of it. And they bring eyes to the sport. So unfortunately, that's just the way it is. It's like that everywhere in life, though. In different parts of life.
Of course.
Money
Nobody
talks.
knows that. If you're smart, if you're not one of those naive, like what we have now throughout the world, especially like in the West, if you're not one of those naive left wing, whatever, then of course, you know that money talks. Money runs the world. Money makes the world go round. No question. I think we've covered most of what we want to cover in this. Well, at least is there anything else you want to talk about?
Well, we didn't really talk about the fights. Just 1 second. I just want to go to the bathroom, and then I think we need to talk about the fight. We haven't really talked about the fights overall. Just give me a second.
That's right.
Sorry about that. So the fights. So we talked about Nick. We didn't really talk about the main event though, or the co-main. The co-main kind of went away. Everyone kind of thought it was going to go. Shevchenko just. She's just.
God.
Like she just done what she done. It was as expected. That girl, Lauren Murphy, is tough though. Fuck me. Like she took a beating, and she took it, and then obviously, but like Shevchenko, no one's gonna touch her in that division. I don't think. Not for what. Well, there will be someone eventually. Father Time catches up on everyone, but they've like what do you do with her? Like she's gonna be the likes of DJ, Jon Jones, GSP, Anderson Silva. She's gonna have like a lot of title defenses. She's gonna be up there. But I'd like to see her fight Amanda Nunes
fight, actually.
Even though she's 0. Because they're 0-1. They fought twice, and Amanda's better twice. The second one was controversial. I watched the second one, and I thought Shevchenko won. But Nunes got it on decision. But I thought Shevchenko won it. But they're saying they don't want to make that fight because it's 0-2. It doesn't make sense. And then if you have Shevchenko, so you can always put her on these high upper co-main main events for cards. And I'd say if you feel, just say Nunes beats her and she's 0-3 against Nunes, does that then kill her star power? The 0-2 hasn't to this stage where she loses for a third time. Would that then kill her star power that they've kind of handicapped themselves, if you get me? That they had a star and now they put her against Nunes, she loses, and now, well, she's not that good. She lost 3 times against Nunes.
What can I say? What can I say? This is just one of those times where I wish I'd done a lot more homework about the athletes before I'm coming. I know Amanda Nunes, I've seen her fight. What's her name? Is it Chris Cyborg? Which was back in 2018. That was a very nasty fight. But I know,
yeah, Amanda Nunes is a motherfucker. You don't need to be. You don't really need to know too much about them. Like what I'm trying to say is if Shevchenko is such a star in that division, and she's 0-2 against Nunes, and Nunes is an absolute animal. Do the UFC not want to make that fight because, like, do you kill her star power? Like, do you think her star power would be killed if she was 0-3 against Nunes, who is arguably the greatest female fighter? But now people are saying Valentina is, so that's why they want to see that fight. But if Valentina lost the fight, would that kill her star power going forward? And then could they not use her for main events or
I don't
co-main
think
events?
so. I doubt it. I mean, you can have a winning streak, and then you can have one loss. But then I don't think if it's just the one or two. No, I don't think it will. But I mean, if it happens, as in it happens, what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like I said, downward spiral, then yeah, okay, fine. Then I think, yeah, your star power is going to be in question.
I don't know. I don't know why they don't seem too hot on wanting to make that fight, and I don't know why, because Amanda Nunes doesn't really have many like opponents. Like Cyborg was kind of the opponent. Like Cyborg was one of the best women in the world for such a long time, and she still is. She still is up there. But Nunes took her apart like very quickly. So there's no one really to challenge her. That's why everyone wants to see the two of them fight each other. And I just don't know why they don't seem interested in making it, and I don't know why. I don't know why, because it would be a good fight. Valentina Shevchenko is like,
I think it'd be a really
she's so
interesting fight. It
technical
would
and her
be.
technique is so good. And
Yeah, yeah, I would. After seeing
it would
Valentina how
be.
she
I'd
fights,
really
after
like to see
seeing
that.
Amanda Nunes how she
But
fights, and you can imagine the pay-per-view. So people paying to actually to be tuning in to watch that fight. It'll make a lot of money for Dana White. I don't know why he's not actually pushing for that fight to happen. But I'm sure they'll work something out.
see, I don't know. I think he wants to keep these two women on these winning streaks, and he doesn't want to break them. And I think that's what it is. I think he wants these two women to maybe achieve greatness, even though they both have achieved greatness as it is. I think he wants them to continue set records. And I don't think he wants he doesn't want to manufacture a loss on either side's record. Maybe that he wants them just to keep continue winning, set these big records. It's good for business. It's good for the company. Look at these two women, and maybe it'll help women's MMA. And not that it needs help, because it's improving. And I'm not saying that it's bad, but like, it's like, if you look at Valentina, like the technique and everything she shows, like she's just unbelievable. Nunes is so good. She's dogged. She's raw, like, and her technique as well, and like she lights you up. So I don't know why they don't want to make it, but that would be a really, really fun fight. I would really like to see the third one. I would disregard the last two and just like to see it. I don't know. I think it's because it's 0-2 to Nunes. I don't think they want to make that.
Yeah, I just told you I'd love to see that
Would you
fight.
pay to see that
After
fight?
seeing what
that would be a main
Nunes is
event.
like in the cage, or after she beat Cyborg, and then seeing what Valentina Shevchenko is like in the cage, definitely to see these two ladies, like they're almost like they're equals. I'd love to see them go head to head. So I'm game for it. I'm all for it. But you know, again, the person that has a final say, Dana White, it really depends on what he thinks.
Yeah, it would be. That'd be one of the better main events. A lot of male fights that are out there. It would be. That would be a top notch main event. That would be. I'd stay up to watch that one again, even though I'd be fucking dying the next day. Fucking 4 hours sleep. I would stay up to watch that. Hopefully we get that fight, because, and I'm not saying like, it's not that the other competition is bad. I think it's just that they're so far ahead that they need them to catch up. it's like they're so good, so good. It's not that the other female fighters are bad. It's they're just so far ahead, kind of like Floyd Mayweather was. No, he was so far ahead of everyone for years. He could take 2 years, come back and fight again, and still no one's on his level. So that is what I'd like to see. That fight kind of went, like I said, it went the way what I thought. Shevchenko just done what she done. Another win. Lucky Lauren Murphy wasn't so lucky. She was tough though, tough as hell. Like, well, anyone who goes in and does that sport is tough. Like, you have to give anybody respect. So like, and then to take it and not give up.
Murphy's got quite an impressive record. He's got 15 wins and 5 losses. Not bad. Yeah, so
yeah. Like, and if you look at true women's MMA, historically, a lot of them, bar the likes of Shevchenko and stuff, a lot of them will have a lot of losses. Misha Tate, not Ronda Rousey, obviously, because when she lost the second time, she never came back. But a lot of them, there's a lot of, it's like kind of tit for tat, 1 for 1. Some of them are like even records. So for even Lauren to have that kind of a record is quite good. So actually, I want to mention as well, she was on the prelims. There was a female fighter, Roxanne Modafferi. I don't know if you've ever seen her. She's not really a big name, but and it wasn't, I don't think it was mentioned in the broadcast, which is strange, and there was not much made of this in the media. She had tied for the most women's MMA's fight ever at 44 fights. Or 44 fights, I think it was. So she was tied, but I never heard that brought up on the broadcast, even during her fight. And it wasn't really mentioned coming up to it. So she would be like, it was a 44 fight. So she would be a pioneer of such. So if you're tied for the most women's fights, whatever, unfortunately she lost. She lost the fight. But it was just something that I felt was worth mentioning because it didn't seem to get any credit anywhere. There was 1 or 2 that I actually seen. It would have been a journalist on Twitter that tweeted it. But like, to have 44 fights to join, there was her and 2 other ladies. I can't remember their names. One of them was Japanese, I believe. But I just felt it needed to be mentioned because she didn't seem to get the respect she deserved, because she was saying, she came out of the Ultimate Fighter and said, if you actually include those fights, I think she was on 50 fights or 49 fights, which would make her have the most. So shout out to Roxanne. Unfortunately, she lost. She's the happy warrior. She's a good fighter.
What did you say?
She kind of wins one, loses one.
I was going to say she was familiar.
Roxanne Modafferi, she fought Macy Barber. Macy Barber was planning on becoming the youngest UFC champion ever. And she ran into Roxanne. I think she tore something in her leg. I remember watching it because it was actually on the Conor McGregor versus Cowboy card. And Macy Barber was like, the next big thing. She's coming. And then she ran into Roxanne and she hurt her leg and Roxanne beat her. She does weird stuff at the press conferences. She wears, like, I think she's into comic books and stuff, and she wears like weird wigs and stuff. So like the hair coming up. She's glasses. So I just felt she needed to shout. I just don't think she didn't get from what I remember, like I said, it was late when I was watching it. I don't think it was mentioned on the broadcast that she was tied. I think they mentioned how many fights she had, but not that she was tied. And the lead up, there wasn't that much to it as well, which is, if someone in your company is making a milestone like that, would you not think, if that was Amanda Nunes or Shevchenko, you'd be hearing about it all week. So they're tying the most. And it didn't seem to get the credit she deserves. So I just thought I had to mention it. I don't know why. She's not going to watch. Maybe she watched, maybe she won't. But I just thought it needed to be mentioned because it's an achievement in itself to have the most.
I remember her face, but not so much her name. I saw her compete. God, which one was it? It was quite a few months ago now. Yeah, it would have been September at UFC Fight Night. Yeah, UFC Vegas 10. Yeah. So I'm sorry, I'm getting like a like a proper history lesson from you because I've not done the names you mentioned. I've not done the proper background research. So I should do before coming on doing this video.
But no, it's you don't need even to do it. The reason, like I
To
said,
be
how long
honest, I only
have you
just
really watched MMA?
I
Two
only just
years, a
started
year,
getting into it like the summer of last
even
year.
that long?
Yeah, so approximately just over a year now.
During the pandemic. Yeah, but like this, this doesn't come with me
Yeah.
researching. This comes with me watching, if you get me. So, like in a year's time, and we're talking about stuff from this year, you're gonna know it's just gonna be there because you've watched, you've taken interest. It's not you don't need to do the research like it's like I don't do major research. I just kind of know like, and if I'm not sure, I'll check something before we do this. And sometimes even when I'm talking about, I'm still unsure. Maybe am I right? Am I wrong? It just comes with watching. So you don't need to. We'll just keep watching. We'll keep doing this. And like I said, if you're only watching it a year, like and you seem to be very very into it. So don't worry about it. You don't need to do research. We just keep watching and we keep rolling and things will just fall into place. It's just for me watching. It's not for me doing research. You don't need to do research. We'll just keep watching and talking about like if there's anything important, maybe, yeah, do a bit of research. But it's
I
just for me
messaged
watching.
your is it your friend or no, I think the guy that beat your friend at Brave. Wakav Mohammed,
Um oh yeah,
and asked me if he could come into the
yeah.
show and talk about his win and just a bit about his backstory and his career, his promising career in the UFC. In Brave, not the UFC, in Brave. Hopefully one day we see him fighting in the UFC. And while he's yet to get back to me, hopefully see my message. But no, I'd love to have him on the show and just get to discuss his win and his how he started off in mixed martial arts. What prompted him to start participating in the sport, start competing in the sport. So yeah. Um, but when I saw that it was a good fight, but also it what's what I can use. For me, it made me think that the UFC again, as we said before, not even just the UFC, but the UFC, Bellator, PFL, One Championship. There are even small organizations out there that do have really good good fighters, and they host really good events. So yeah, I mean, God, there's not much else I can say, but I'd love to get him on the show.
Yeah, hopefully he replies back to you. If not, that's why
Mm.
I've started looking like we focus a lot on the UFC, and like I said, I think I said in the last time I've made a conscious decision to start looking at others. And Brave, I was quite impressed with their production. You can actually go on and watch it. I watched it for free. You just log on to the website, create an account, and you watch through a player. That was it. Easy as that. I set up in 2 minutes, and I was able to watch those fights with Brave. So I am looking at other ones. Like I said, I'm looking at the Irish regional scene a lot now. So um, see, there's a lot coming up there. That fight, Blaine, I think Blaine done quite well to get out. He got up a
Yeah,
bit. You know, he was brought down, he got up, and he was brought down, and he got up. But he even said himself, he thought like he goes, that's one of the best wrestlers in the world. Like he's 30-0 now, but that includes his amateur, and I think he's 7-0 as a
just a
pro.
kid.
He's 21, that guy. Um, so like
Yeah.
I think he will be in the UFC very soon. If he keeps going like that, I think he'll be snapped up. He's actually from Manchester. He was born in Dagestan. There's just something. They're just built different, aren't they? Those guys from Dagestan. They seem to have like superhuman strength or something. They're wrestling. They just seem to like. He kept getting Blaine down, and Blaine would get up, but he was just so relentless in the takedown that he just finally caught Blaine. And like Blaine is quite good. Blaine is very good. Sorry, not quite good. Blaine is very good. He's in SBG with John Kavanagh, McGregor's gym. Like Blaine is very good, and to do that to Blaine, like I really think he's going to be in the UFC very soon.
That they were having. Is it that guy and someone else? No, yeah, I think he was having it with Paddy Pimblett.
It was Paddy. Apparently, there was some tweets that was retweeted and stuff by Paddy that were apparently racist. There was, I can't remember the reporter's name. I want to say he's from Holland. He kind of reported it all. But Paddy had said something about Islam. Well, not Islam, sorry. Makhachev. He said something about him when he lost some competition years ago and he cried or whatever. And he represents Great Britain, even though he's from Dagestan, but I think he was raised in Britain. So obviously he'd be a citizen. And there was like Paddy saying, well, you're not from here, so you shouldn't represent. Oh no, you weren't born here, so you shouldn't represent the country. Like you weren't born, like.
Yeah,
and I don't know exactly. And then it was like people were saying Paddy was racist, and then like he kind of called him out. Yeah, that would actually be fun if they fought in the UFC.
It would. God, I am getting a bit knackered, and we need to. Well, not we. Because to be honest, I got back about an hour and a half before I started the Zoom chat, and then it took me about an extra hour just to get everything set up. I mean, my computer's just gradually, it looks like it's on its last legs. So you're right about the late starts thing. It's just not gonna, we can't keep doing this.
Yes, because you end up losing your steam. We didn't even talk about the main event. We should really structure this, that we go subject 1, subject 2, subject 3, subject 4, because we keep going off on tangents. Yeah.
Because I used to think, because the following day I don't have to be up until about, if I like, maybe 1 p.m. But no, it messes with your sleep patterns, and you just, when you wake up whatever time of the day, you do feel like crap because you haven't had enough proper rest. But look, man. Can we still talk about the main event probably in the next episode? If you want.
Yeah, we can do one. I'm working late tomorrow, then I'm off Thursday and Friday, so I can do tomorrow night or Thursday night, and we can talk about Volkan Ortega, because that will probably take a while to talk about, because that was such a good fight. Like that was probably one of the fight of the years.
There's some interesting and entertaining names, or I say entertaining, but they talk a lot.
Sorry,
some names in the upcoming UFC event happening on the 2nd of October, this coming weekend. So it'll be interesting to see that, like Kevin Holland, someone who's notorious for talking all the time when he's fighting. That'd be an interesting one.
Yeah, there is Valentina Shevchenko's sister is actually on that card as well, Antonia Shevchenko. I can't remember who else I see. There was a couple of others. I have to look at the card, but there is good ones. There is another thing I wanted to mention. I don't know if you've seen one of the reels I made on the thing was of Chris Duncan. Did you see that guy, Chris Duncan, the Problem 155 on Instagram? He got brought over for Dana White's Contender Series. Supposed to be fighting tonight. Supposed to be fighting now. So he went over about 2 weeks ago. He's after going over. He made
Did you
weight
post this?
professional. His opponent didn't
You
make
post this
weight,
on your Instagram profile.
and then his opponent. Sorry. On the fans view one, it was, if you go down, I think it's under Pally, and it's just the reel of him. I think it's got the song, the Eminem and 50 Cent song Psycho. But he's after going over to America, to Las Vegas in the PI Center. He's after going over, made weight. His opponent is after now dropping. He missed weight and then he pulled out at the last second. So this guy is after going over from Scotland, and now he's denied his chance to get a contract with the UFC because his opponent was unprofessional, missed weight, and then pulled out. So not only has his opponent fucked up his own chances, he's potentially fucked up Chris's chances, which isn't fair on Chris. To be fair, I think Chris will get there. But imagine being on the cusp of getting a UFC or potentially getting a UFC contract and getting a takeaway for you. I can't even imagine how it
I've
feels.
got where he's different clips of him fighting in the octagon. I hope it's the right one. Yeah, I'm looking at now. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's wrap this up.
Yeah, perfect.
Definitely. So I think,
and
yeah,
we'll
for
talk
this
about
one,
what day to do the next one.
Jon Jones, his arrest, Nick Diaz, his performance at UFC 266, and the Tyron Woodley tattoo, which I still think is fake, because there's no way gonna. Oh, that's fake. The palm of your hand, of all places, the palm of your hand. If you're serious about getting the tattoo and convincing to everyone, you're going as just so you let people know that you're serious, as embarrassing as it may be. You put it somewhere, maybe your arm, your shoulder, your chest, your back.
I put it behind my knee.
Okay, that's fine, because those are areas that
on the back of your leg. I put it somewhere where it couldn't be.
No, that's okay. That's fine.
Or even up
because
on your
those are
thigh or
areas that
something
if
up
you want
here,
to
it
get
looks
the
more
tattoo removed, it's not going to be so easy. In comparison to the palm of your hand. All right. I will speak to you on Thursday.
Anyway. Yeah. Oh no, I'll text you tomorrow and we'll see, because I can do tomorrow night or Thursday night. So
yeah, let's
it
do
depends
Thursday,
on yourself.
but I'm gonna spend the time
You
leading
just
up
let me know.
to the next 24 hours from now. I'll spend the time actually doing some proper research and watching as many fights as possible. Yeah, because that'll help a lot. All right.
Yeah.
You take care. See you later.
Bye.
Take care.
You too, and I will talk to you soon.